Hey guys, it's Cesar.
And I'm Carla.
Welcome to another episode of Carla and Cesar's Modern Life.
Episode number 12.
Yes, 12 weeks in a row we have been doing this. How do you feel?
Good. How are you?
Good, yeah. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning in like we say every week. Like and subscribe, share this, tell people, and submit your scenarios to advice@carlaandcesar.com.
Also, thanks for the comments.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to everybody that's been commenting. That's really nice. That's really supportive. And we're just going to keep going.
We appreciate it.
Yep. And you can follow me at I am Cesar Rod on Instagram. We're going to follow you.
Carla Rod 89 or my plant page, Plant Parenthood OC.
Nice.
Yeah.
What have you been this week? I know we haven't really done much since last week, but how was your week?
My week was good. We had an eventful weekend. So I was tired.
Yeah.
But I feel good now. Feel good.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that weekend, though. We can talk about how we went bowling, and then we went to the disco night on Saturday, and then went to the Angels game on Sunday. Yeah. Well, the bowling thing, we were just hanging out with our friends, but the disco night, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that the
fun.
bowling wasn't cool, but I mean, what can I tell you about bowling? It was fun.
Yeah.
The disco night was called Gimme Gimme Disco, and it was at the Observatory. And I didn't really have any expectations, but it was better than I thought, but not as good as I expected.
Yeah, like there were things that were kind of obvious that they could have done, like obviously a disco ball.
A disco ball somewhere?
There was no disco ball. Like, I feel like they literally dropped the ball right there.
Yep.
And other than that, though, it was... some of the songs they played, I guess, were not disco related. Not that I really cared, but I was like...
I cared.
This seems so easy. Like, how are you not...
Why do you need to play the Killers? Like,
yeah.
why does that need to happen? Like, I love that song, Mr. Brightside, but not that day, not that time.
Yeah. I didn't sign up for this.
No. And then there was like disco, and then there was some 80s songs, and it was like, what? That doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, but overall, it was a good time.
Yeah, no, I did have a lot of fun. We both had a lot of fun, and it was cool to hang out with our friends. But the time just flew by. It was like we were there for like 3 or 4 hours. But and when it was like at the beginning when we first got there, they were playing all the hits. You could tell eventually he was like running out of songs to play, or people were requesting too many that were not related, and then that's when stuff started to change. But even then, I was having fun. It was just like, yeah, you didn't stick to the theme, you know. And it's not even nothing to do with like the amount of anything. It's just play disco, dog.
Yeah, like even if you didn't dress up, like I feel like the host of the night.
Yeah, the DJ needed to dress up, and the thing is, I looked at their Instagram, and on other events, he did dress up.
Oh.
But I think that they're trying to, like, it's one company that tours, but they did multiple shows that one night, and they probably have one set, and they just put the set somewhere else. But it's like, why would you do that? Like, I get you're trying to make money.
Yeah.
But it really showed me how easy it is to do one of those things. Like, you just, because it's like, yeah, he just said we're playing disco at the Observatory, and then a bunch of people showed up.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And
everybody dressed up.
Yeah, everybody was dressed up.
It was really cool.
We did our, like, you know, version of dressing up. You had a very appropriate, you know, outfit for the disco night. I just tucked in my shirt. It was a long sleeve.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to our friends that went with us, Corey and Michelle, and Michael and Jacqueline. I said Michelle twice because Michael and Michelle, very similar sounding names.
I figured. That's funny.
Yeah, so shout out to them. And the Angels game, I haven't really been to one in a while. How was that for you?
It was fun. Yeah. We did a lot of walking around the stadium trying to find, is it a stadium?
Angel Stadium, yeah.
Yeah. Trying to find food and stuff. But it was cool. I feel like I didn't watch a lot of the game, actually, now that I think about it.
Like, let's keep it real. We're not really baseball people. Like, we're just there for the fun.
But there were exciting moments.
Yeah.
There was a grand slam, which was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. If I knew what it was, I would be able to remember exactly. But I mean, yeah, it's just fun to go to those games and just hang out. And
it was a sunny day, but my sister hooked it up with the best shady seats. Yeah. Like 2 rows in front of us, it was sunny.
Yeah, it was like perfect placement. And shout out to your brother, whose birthday it was. That's where we went to celebrate his birthday. So yeah, we're trying to go out there and be social. And this weekend we don't really have much planned, but we'll keep you updated on what's going on. Yeah,
I'm ready to have a relaxing weekend.
Yeah. For my personal stuff in terms of, like, you know, the career, I told you guys last week that I quit. And so now I'm still looking for another job. I've applied to a lot of, like I told you last week, or audio production stuff, and I'm just taking this time to like create more samples that I can, show off.
So for me, I wasn't going to talk about this, but that reminded me of a job interview I was supposed to have on Monday, and it didn't end up happening because I don't think it was my fault or their fault. I think it was just like,
I mean, if we're being honest here, I think it was their fault.
Well, what happened, I was on my break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I opened up my phone, and because I don't keep my phone usually on me at work because like I'm not looking at it, so I don't carry it with me because it's like one less thing to have to carry, because I carry like my box cutter and like Sharpie and whatever, so it's just not on me.
Yeah.
So I went to open it up super quick like during my break, and then I saw it, and I saw, like you said, Alexa. And so I kind of like dismissed it because I was like, oh, it's spam.
Yeah.
And then I had other texts, so I quickly forgot about it. And then when I finally got home and thought about it, I realized it was like 11 p.m. And I was like, oh, yeah, I did get like a random text because I knew I had the interview coming up the next day.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I wonder what that was about, because I knew it was related to the company, but I don't know, whatever. I was busy.
Yeah.
And then it was too late by the time I wanted to respond. So I responded. Oh, they were texting, I guess, to see if I was, just to confirm, make sure that I was still on for the time that they put me under. And then when I text them in the morning, they were like, basically like, well, I ended up filling up that time slot because I didn't hear from you. They did apologize for saying, for calling me the wrong name. Like they said, I'm so sorry, whatever. And they said, normally I would not consider giving you basically a chance to interview because something about communication, how communication is really important in the role. And so how they normally wouldn't consider somebody going forward, but that they would make an exception, basically. Yeah. Can you come in at a later time? And that time just didn't work for me. And so I let them know, and I was like, they said, I hope you understand. And I was like, yeah, I do understand. I can't make it at that time, but thanks anyway for the opportunity. Because at that point, I was like, I had been getting like vibes from the whole application process, like that were kind of off, because like when I applied, the title of the job was one thing, and then when they sent me the interview, the link to set up an interview, the job that they had me interviewing for was like not totally different, but like it was sales basically. And I wouldn't have applied for a sales job because I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, what do I have to lose? I'll just go and like find out like ask questions like to see if it is a good fit for me or not, because I don't know, I've never had a sales job.
Yeah.
But and so I think that was another reason why the Alexa thing threw me off, because it was like I'm already getting like weird.
So you saw the full message at work and you didn't reply to it?
No, I didn't. So
you didn't see it?
I did. I saw it. I opened it. I saw that it was from them, but I didn't like.
Oh, I see. I thought you just saw Alexa and you were like, oh, this is spam, and then you didn't reply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was in part that, but also in part like, well, I've already scheduled that. I scheduled that appointment myself, so why would I not be there?
Yeah.
Type of thing. Like I thought, well, it's not like they're gonna get rid of my appointment anyway. Yeah. But this was like all in like a split second. Like these thoughts were in a split second on my break at work.
Yeah. When
I had other texts to respond to.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you at least realized that it wasn't for you.
Yeah. So there are still jobs that I've applied to that I haven't heard back from yet, but I haven't applied to any new ones since last week. Yeah, so I'm working on my last flight attendant vlog. When I was a flight attendant, I did a few just like video blogs, like just me on the job basically. And for this one, it's just a little bit of footage that I recorded on my last trip. And as I was editing, I realized there isn't like that much, like the video that I have is like okay, but like the message that I want to get across is really like the reason why I'm doing it, which is to just close out that chapter of my life and kind of like be able to move on, because it is on my mind. Like I've known that I wanted to like make a final flight attendant vlog since I quit, and I just haven't made it a priority just because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, which is something that I've talked about with my career coach. And she helped me break it down into like smaller action steps, basically, like just smaller deadlines. Just because I feel like I have been putting it off because I feel like I have so much that I want to say, and I just I'm having a hard time like figuring out how to condense it, and like make sure my point gets across.
Well, why do you want to condense it? Like, isn't there a lot you have to say? Like, why not just say all of it and then see if you
maybe because I've been like replaying the same like story of like when people ask me about it like over and over, and I just feel like it's at this point I just feel like it's repetitive, but I guess it's not, because people that would be watching it are the people that don't know maybe why I left. I don't know. But anyway, besides that, last week I mentioned the book I was listening to, so I finished it up, and I'm just reminded, like I feel like I already knew, well I definitely did already know like the type of thinking that it takes in order to like manifest things in your life, which is like a lot of not like just positive thinking, but like being able to like imagine that it is possible for you to like achieve what you want to achieve, and just how important it is, like the stories that you tell yourself in your head of like why you are the way you are. And I feel like for a long time I've been in this space of like healing, that I just feel like I keep cycling back like over and over in my head, and also like in my actions, like the things that I've been trying to work on. And so I think that in going forward I need to focus on what I'm trying to do going forward and like in the future, as opposed to where I've been and how I've gotten to where I am, basically, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm glad you're doing the work and you're getting there. You know?
Basically, I came to the conclusion that I need to be more mindful of my thoughts and the stories I keep telling myself in my head. And like I have a lot of downtime at work, so I'm trying to figure out how I can not downtime, but like times where I can zone out. And so I want to basically get myself to make the most out of that time. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into these scenarios. Who is the jerk? Are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right, I'll start with the first one. My dad practically gave me up to his sister from the moment I, a 27-year-old male, was born. My mom died when she was giving birth to me, and my aunt told me he never recovered from that because he blamed me for her dying. It hurt a lot as a kid that at family events he would ignore my existence. When I was a little older, he got more vocal about me killing her, and he can't stand looking at my face. But the shitty part was that I never stopped trying to be accepted by him. After my high school graduation, he told me to never bother him again since he legally has no obligation to me anymore. And he was sending my aunt money to take care of me, but he's not going to do that anymore.
My aunt doesn't talk to me about him. Sometimes my grandparents do, and that's how I found out about him getting married. They were mad he didn't invite me to the wedding, but to me it didn't matter because we're not close. But it was his wife who wanted to meet me. It's the first time ever that he wants to make contact, and it was to pretty much say she wants me in their life. She doesn't know the real reason about why we're estranged. He asked me to please not say anything, and maybe this could be a way to reconcile after all. But he was only doing it for her. That much was clear when we talked. I never said I would be going along with it, but he still insisted on us meeting at their place because she really wanted to meet me. All she thinks is we were estranged for not getting along in my teenage years, going to college and losing touch because of life stuff. It pissed me off that he played it off as just not talking for petty reasons. Meanwhile, the actual reason damaged me for years.
I told her the truth, everything he said to me, that he was never a parent to me, that was on my aunt. It was definitely a shock for her. The outcome was a disaster. My dad is devastated. They think it was going too far to ruin his marriage that way. He was willing to include me in their lives, which could have been the start of our relationship. It could have been avoided if I didn't say anything. For me, it was hard not to tell the truth after the lies made it seem like it was nothing serious. I couldn't ignore what happened after what it did. I don't know if it was the right call since it was putting his whole marriage at risk after all. Am I the asshole for doing that? Dang. What do you think?
I don't think he's the asshole.
No, I don't think so either. I think that he should have owned up to his mistake and just said, hey, I didn't treat this kid. But at the same time, he's still like, you can't, like, why does everybody think it's okay to put this whole, you killed my wife on the kid? Like, everybody was like, oh yeah, he's just having a hard time. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm supposed to be scarred for life because this guy who's not even my dad, because, well, he's only biologically, because it's just crazy. Like, why are we going around making the world easier for this guy? Like, there should never been even a hesitation. He should just been like on the phone, been like, yeah, right.
Yeah. And I don't blame him for saying something because it's the truth.
Yeah.
And he's not lying about who he is.
Yeah.
Who his dad is. And yeah, I just, like you said, I feel like people shouldn't be expected to lie for other people. Like, that was your decision. Like, you have to live with it.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next scenario. Do you want to start?
My daughter is 12. I'm trying to teach her ways of creating and respecting her boundaries that are age appropriate. Teaching her that it's okay to say no to things she feels uncomfortable with. There is a boy in her class who keeps bothering her and her female friends at recess. I've encouraged her to go to me or her teacher when this happens. My daughter told me a few days ago that in class, the teacher had asked the kids to form groups of 4 or 5. She had formed a group of 5 with some other girls, and the boy who had been giving her trouble at recess came over and said he was joining their group. Another girl said that they already had 5 and he should work with the group who only have 2 or 3 people.
He said no because the teacher said about 4 or 5. My daughter then said that they didn't want to work with him and he should find another group. A few other girls agreed and he said, you can't exclude me like that, it's against the class rule. And she said she didn't care. I heard about it from my daughter first, and the way she talked about it, she had been firm but not unkind. Then I got an email from her teacher saying she wanted to call. She said there had been an incident at the school where my daughter had excluded another child and that wasn't allowed in her classroom. She wanted to have a talk with me about it. Her telling of the events was the same as my daughter's. I felt proud of my daughter for her honesty.
I sent her an email saying, Dear Mrs. Teacher, I'm sorry, but that is not the lesson I feel comfortable teaching my daughter. She's at the age where she is already having to deal with unwanted attention, and I'm making a point to teach her that she does not have to be around anyone who makes her uncomfortable, and that a young lady is able to choose to spend time with people who make her feel respected. I understand you already are aware of the boy who has been behaving in ways that she feels uncomfortable with at recess from our prior conversations. I think it is a very dangerous lesson to teach a girl she has to include and be kind to everyone instead of teaching her to be aware of when someone is not respecting her no and stepping out of the situation. I hope I don't have to explain it too much detail why I find this important. But to put it briefly, I was brought up with the include everyone mindset. No exceptions. It taught me to ignore my own comfort level, and as I became a young adult, I became the victim of men who use my inability to say no to their advantage. It's a dangerous lesson and no longer appropriate at that age. Thank you. Signed, the mom. She emailed me back asking for a meeting in person with the principal. I'm preparing for that, but wondering if my email was too harsh. Am I the asshole for my response to my daughter's teacher?
Wow.
No, I think that she did a great job. She's not the asshole.
Yeah.
And like more kids, more people, more children should have someone who advocates for them like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's not like, as society changes, you do change like the way you teach your kids, and I think that that's true. Like you have to teach kids to have some kind of not fear, but like be aware of somebody that makes them not feel good. At least
listen to that feeling and know that it's there for a reason, instead of being like, oh no, like it's okay.
Like, oh no, like just get over it. But I feel like there is some like there's a line there, right? Like, hey, I they don't make me uncomfortable, but I don't like the way that they're dressed or something. Like you have to teach kids the difference between that and then the person making you feel a certain way,
For sure.
And I think that's where they're towing the line. Like the teacher said, like include everybody, because they don't want people to be separated based on something dumb. Right. But at the same time, like you have to, I guess it's like you have to teach them
it
both.
would be hard as a teacher, I feel like, to find a good balance. Yeah.
And then I think it's connected to the idea of like, even when you're like a little kid and they make you say hi to everybody in the family, like
that's true.
Or like give somebody a hug or something like that. Like
even if they make you feel uncomfortable or you don't know them, like a lot of times, like it's your family, but you don't know them.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't spend time with them.
And
so that's weird.
There's been a lot of like people that I know that they have like, and I haven't heard much about it, but it's like, oh, I have a weird uncle and he's always weird when he gets drunk, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Like, you don't have to deal with that. And yes, but especially like I obviously, from my perspective, I've never had to deal with somebody like that, but I'm sure that as a girl, I mean, I don't even know how to say, you know what I mean? Like you deal with that more often as a woman, that there's people that they might make you uncomfortable, and you feel that, you sense that, and it's like, what the heck, And like she said too, like she was taught that way, and there's a generation of people that were taught like always try to be, accommodating to everybody, and that's not the right way.
Yeah, because it's not unkind to set boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
And somebody commented on the post that said something like, he didn't need to be in the group. He wanted to be in that group. So like, why does his wants like trump the girls' need to feel
safe or feel comfortable?
Comfortable, yeah. Like, why is that prioritized over,
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a good one, because it is like something on the surface that you can look at and you're like, well, yeah, you don't want to exclude anybody, but at the same time, like, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think now, like looking back at when you were in elementary school and stuff, like there was a lot of stuff that is so different now. Like, I'm sure they teach kids like yoga poses now in some classes.
Really?
Yeah, some like the younger kids and stuff like that. I've heard about that. I haven't hang out with kids to know, but
that's cool.
So yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's more progressive, and as society changes, I'm sure we'll get to that point where it's okay to just be like, hey, I don't want to, like, it's okay. We can stay separate, Because even now, like as an adult, because of the fact that we grew up with that, it is hard to establish boundaries for yourself. Even like I catch myself like, I don't really want to do this, but I don't want to be rude to the person, and it's like, you shouldn't have to be that person, So yeah, you are not the asshole for your response to your daughter's teacher, I think. And even as a person, like, I don't think the teacher should be offended or anything. I think it was a really well thought out, like, conversation. Oh, and she said she emailed back asking for a meeting in person, and it's like, what is there left to say?
Yeah, and she said that she ended up gathering the parents of all the other people involved.
Oh, okay.
And they all went, and I don't know if the teacher ended up apologizing, but basically they were able to like agree and see her point of view. But potentially they were trying to intimidate her by setting up a meeting with the principal.
Yeah.
Which is sketchy.
Yeah. But maybe it's just like, hey, let me have a principal there so we can all like evaluate how we reacted to all of this together. I guess. I don't know. What do you do if you're the son? It's your son that's making people uncomfortable. What do you tell your kid?
I mean,
just respect people's boundaries.
I guess so. Yeah, and try to teach that at home as much as possible.
Well, all right. Let's move on to this last one here. I can start it. My sister got knocked up by her boyfriend right out of high school. Got married the next year, then proceeded to pop out another baby every year or two. She has 4 now at 24 years old. She's a stay-at-home mom, even though she was brilliant and could have gotten a free ride to a great university. Since hers are the only grandkids, our parents fawn over her like she's the next coming of Christ. They gush over every new tooth or haircut like it's some big achievement.
Problem is, her husband's business wasn't great even before COVID and is barely limping along now. Sister doesn't work and my parents have limited income. So guess who's constantly being told to lend them money for shit like school fees, car seat, car payment, new stroller, etc. They don't even ask. My mom just texts me, your sister needs X amount of dollars for the kids. And I'm supposed to cough up. If I complain, they accuse me of being jealous because I don't have a husband and family, even though I'm older. I'm only 26. So over Easter, I noticed my sister wasn't drinking and I thought, oh God, here we go again. Sure enough, she stood up and announced that she's been inseminated with yet another precious miracle. Everyone's gushing and I just try to stay quiet and out of the way.
Later, she asks if everything's alright and I try to play it off, but she pushes, so I asked her if she and her husband could really afford another baby. She very snippily replies, God will provide like he has so far, which really pisses me off. I yelled, no, actually God didn't provide for her babies. I did. I wasn't going to give them any more handouts. It devolved into a big argument with everyone shouting on me, and basically I've been banned from the house unless I apologize, and I have not apologized. Then radio silence except for one text from my mom saying that if my sister miscarriages, it's my fault for stressing her out. I asked if my sister was showing any symptoms, but no one would answer or tell me. I don't know. I don't think I'm the asshole, but I don't want to be the reason she miscarries. Also, I think I might be the asshole secretly because I think I would be better if she did, even though I wouldn't say that to her. If she did miscarry, okay, you don't have to say the last part. You don't have to say that last part. Okay, but let's just... That part is not good. Past that, though, she's providing for these kids for her sister. What do you think?
I see why she's concerned, at least. Like, at the end of the day, all you can do is set that boundaries once again.
Yeah, but I mean, she just told her, like, hey, like, I'm not going to pay for this shit anymore. She didn't even say that, right?
I think she did say, because she said, God doesn't provide, I do.
The way you said it was, imagine you said, God doesn't provide, I do. Yeah, no.
She did say I wasn't going to give them any more handouts.
Oh, okay.
So maybe like if your sister is being enabled by the rest of your family to keep popping out kids, like she was genuinely excited, she was announcing, maybe that wasn't the right time. But at the same time, I see your frustration, and like I would be frustrated too, because it's like, damn, another mouth I have to feed.
Basically, because and that's what she's saying, is like the family's taking advantage of her.
And she's only 26.
Yeah.
So she's young too. Like she has her own life to live. So
it's crazy how like these saying like, you're just jealous because you don't have a husband or kids.
I feel like every time I read stories, I'm like, dang, there's just so many different alternate realities people are living out there, and like I'm just blown away every time.
Because it's like you look at like yourself and like the life you're living or whatever. Like I think to myself like our parents aren't perfect, right? Like you know, but we appreciate them and we have a good relationship. But it's like, at least they're not these people. Holy shit! Like, like imagine like your mom's like, yeah, Carla, you're just jealous. You know, like what?
That's
like,
messed up. Yeah.
Psychologically manipulating you at 26, just torturing you like that. Nah, not cool. All right. It. Yeah. So like we said, today's theme was boundaries. The last two were really good boundary ones. I feel like people, they get taken. You think about it a lot with family. You're like, oh, like, am I being taken advantage of, or should I just help them out anyway? And I think that we need to remember, like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, if the boundaries need to be there, they need to be there. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, well, it's my aunt or it's my cousin or it's my sister. It's like, but how do you feel? Like, if you don't feel good, then you need to worry about yourself first. And then
setting boundaries like is hard if you're not used to it. It's not going to feel good at first, but it's for the greater good of everybody involved, because then you don't end up resenting people. And
but that's it for this week. Remember to follow us on the channel if you do not. Like, subscribe, whatever. all that stuff. Follow me at I am Cesar Rod, and you can follow the show, my other radio show, at The Rodriguez Show on Instagram, and you can support it on patreon.com/The Rodriguez Show.
My Instagram is carlalarod89, and my Plant Parenthood page is Plant Parenthood OC, where you can ask me plant questions, hire me to take care of your plants for you, decorate your plants in your apartment for you.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yep. And remember to take care of yourself and each other.
Bye.